I'm Nikki and welcome to the Preppy Possum. Today I'm going to lead you step by step through a painting. Alright, so let's paint a latte. And you can make it like lighter or darker than mine. Like if you want a mocha latte, you can make it dark. If you want it just black coffee, you can do that. But I'm probably going to do a little design in mine. But let's start out by grabbing like a good drawing brush. So number 4. And dry it off. And let's grab some really light gray because that'll be a good color to like draw our little cup on there with. And let's start at the very bottom. So just skip up just a tiny little smidge from the bottom. And we're going to throw a line. Well, let's just start by throwing like a little placeholder. So skip up a smidge from the bottom center. Throw you like a little dash for a little placeholder. Then I'm going to skip over here to the left and skip in a little smidge, so like 1.5 inches or so, and throw a placeholder. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right hand side. I might skip in a little further just so it's not exact. And throw a little placeholder on the right. And then I'm going to do a line that droops. You want it to kind of curve because it's going to be our little saucer. So you really want it to droop. But don't worry if you don't get it right. You can always come back and tweak it. Or like if you're at home and want to use something round, you could do that too. Some people like to do that. All right, so we have a little bit of a droop going on there. And then let's go ahead and skip down from the top, at least like a couple inches, and throw you a little placeholder there. And then we'll skip down from that, at least 6 or 7 inches, because like the coffee's the main focal point, so you want to skip down quite a bit. And then we're going to throw like a big oval. So I would kind of start at the top here. And then it's just going to curve around right into our little placeholder. So that'll be like where our coffee goes. And then right underneath that, we're going to throw like the bottom of our coffee cup. So you just want to do like another little curve, like a little crescent moon kind of shape. Right underneath there. So now we have like the bottom of our cup. And let's go ahead, before we finish our saucer, let's go ahead and throw our little handle on here. So up here at the top, I would just kind of throw a little whoop, kind of like the right-hand side of a rainbow, and kind of make it go straight. And then we'll just curve it right back in. And then you want the top part to be a little bit bigger, so we'll just come down a little bit from the top of the handle, throw you another little whoop. We'll kind of fill that in with some dark later, but there's just like the start of a handle. And then we'll just connect our little saucer to our handle. And then we'll do the same thing on the left-hand side. Just connect your little saucer to your coffee. All right, so now we got the basic first part. So let's go ahead and wipe off our extra and chunk that in the water. And let's grab like a bigger brush, so like a number 6 or 8, and dry it off. And let's grab some dark brown. I'm gonna make mine a little bit dark latte. Maybe there's some chocolate in there. Or you can make hot chocolate too, you don't have to do coffee. But we're gonna go ahead and throw a layer in through our coffee just because it's probably gonna be a little bit streaky and we're gonna throw a couple layers. So I'm going to start with like darker browns and fill in the top part. And then I'm just going to grab some lighter browns, so like some milk chocolate and caramel kind of color, and fill in like all the rest just to get some paint on there. but you can make yours lighter or darker. So if you wanted yours like really light and frothy, so like a cappuccino or something, I would grab like some tan and some white together and off-white and make it really light. But we're just trying to get like a little start, because we'll come back and throw another layer. All right, so we got us a little layer on there. So that's a good start. So let's wipe that one off and rinse it out in the water. And we'll just dry it off. So just rinse it and dry it off. And now let's grab like some light gray with a little bit of dark. And we're gonna fill in the bottom of our cup, because how the shadow hits, it will kind of make it a little bit darker. So we're gonna throw a little layer of paint on there. So same size brush, like a number 6 or something. And we're just gonna fill in the bottom of our cup. And you don't have to take it all the way to your coffee, because we're gonna come back and throw like the little rim on there, so it didn't have to touch. Trying to make sure we got our cup big enough here. It's not too big, so I think that's a pretty good start. All right, and then while we have those grays, I would go ahead and add you maybe like a few little streaks through your saucer. You just want it to kind of curve with the saucer, because we'll come back and throw some white on there. So we got a few little streaks going on. So then let's just wipe that one off, and let's grab some black. You can grab a little dark gray with it if you want to, but I wanted mine kind of dark, so mostly black with a little dark gray. Same brush, and I'm just gonna trace around the outside of the whole thing. So you can kind of start at the bottom and get right up next to your saucer. Don't worry if you like eat away at anything too much, because once it dries, you can come back and paint over into the background color again. Let's see here, up here through our handle. And then I'm gonna get around the left-hand side of our saucer over here. And then when you're going around the top, I would leave a little bit of space, because we're gonna come back and throw the top part of our cup on there. So leave you a little sliver around your coffee. All right, so we have the whole thing outlined. And while you have the black and dark gray, you could even throw you a little bit at the bottom of your cup, because there's gonna be a glare there, maybe a little bit through the handle. All right, so now we have the start to our coffee. So let's wipe that one off, chunk it in the water, and now let's grab a huge brush. So grab the biggest brush in your cup and dry it off, and we're gonna grab some more of that black with a little dark gray, and we're gonna do the whole background. So all around the coffee. And just grab a bunch of paint and go for it. All right, so we have us a good little layer through our background. So let's just wipe that one off and chunk that one in the water. All right, let's grab like a pretty good size brush again, so like a number 6, number 8, and dry it off, and we'll grab some white. And now let's throw a little layer of white in through our saucer just to get a little bit of white on there. Get some paint on there. So just kind of grab a glob and go for it. And this is where you can thin down any of those gray streaks that got crazy. Or if you need to eat away at your cup or anything. But now that my background's dry, I'm gonna take that white like all the way to the edge of the black. And how you get a good smooth line is to load your brush with a lot of paint and then just be real light with it. All right, so we got us a layer through our saucer. Now, let's just kind of wipe that one off a little bit and grab some more of the grays, and let's throw another layer in through the bottom of our little cup. Just to get it thickened up. And then while you still have the grays, this is where if you just ate away at it too much, you can add a few little streaks back, because it's easier to add your little streaks while it's still wet anyway. All right, then we'll just kind of wipe that one off a little bit, and let's grab a little bit of light gray by itself, and just through the middle of our cup, let's grab a little white with that. So white and light gray, and just through the center of the cup, there's some streaks back and forth. Might be a little too wet, might have to come back and hit it again. Yeah, we'll come back and make it pop out more. So just go ahead and wipe that one off, so you don't have to rinse it out, wipe it off. And now let's add another layer to our coffee. So you can grab, like this is where you can make it darker if you want it darker or lighter. Well, I'm just gonna grab some more of the dark browns again and kind of make this like left-hand corner of mine just a little bit darker. Add a little bit of interest. And then I'm gonna grab more of the like milk chocolate and caramel color and throw another layer and through all the rest of it. And whenever you're filling this part in, you can kind of do it in like a circular motion, like towards the edges, kind of round it out. I'm even going to throw a few light glares with like that tan. Just so you have some streaks going on. All right, so now that we have another layer on our coffee, let's wipe that one off and chunk it in the water. All right, now let's grab like a number 4 size brush and dry it off and grab some white. And we're just gonna go ahead and go around the edge of our cup. So this is where we're gonna make the little lip. So the trick is to load your brush with a lot of paint and then just be real light with it. Or that's what I'm saying the trick is. Let's see if we can do it. But just load it with a lot of paint and then just be real light with it. And you're gonna see like quite a bit of white at the top because of how perspective is. You're gonna see that white at the top, so don't worry if yours is like even a little bit thicker than mine, that's fine. And like I said, if you want to do hot chocolate, you could do it, you know, with just like the darker browns. Or if you wanted a cappuccino, I would make it like lighter. Or black coffee. All right, so let's go ahead. Now that we've kind of got the top with a little bit of white, we'll do the same thing, like all the way around. So keep the white on your brush. And then we'll go ahead, we hadn't thrown like any white through our handle, so throw you a little white through that too. Then I just threw like a little bit of white through the saucer, anywhere where you needed to like trim up some of your grays. And then while you have that white, and you can even grab a little bit of light gray with it, now through the middle of that cup, it's probably dry now, so we can add like a little bit of a glare. So just brush a little bit of paint back and forth to add you a little glare through there. All right, and then we'll grab a little bit of the 2 grays together and throw just a little bit of that underneath where the handle hits. And then also over here where the cup, it would be like the shadow of the cup over the saucer. And then we'll just wipe that one off and rinse it out just a little. And dry it off. So we'll use that same brush and the white, and now we're gonna do our design. So you can do whatever you want, if you want to do a big heart or nothing, if you did black coffee or something, because it kind of looks good how it is. But I'm gonna add a little design. So I think I'm gonna do like a little heart. And don't worry if you can see like a little bit of the brown through it. That's almost like better, because that's how if you were pouring a design in coffee. So I'm going to start with my little heart, and then I'm going to do kind of like a little swirl, which you can do it however you want, and this might help if you're going to do like a long swirl or a feather, if you kind of want to throw you like a little guideline. So you don't have to do that, but if you're at home and want to do the feather or the swirl, I would start you with a little guideline. And then I'm going to load the brush, and you can use like a number 4 or a teeny tiny, and we're just going to go off of our little guideline. So let's see here. It kind of starts out like looking like a ribbon candy, which if you're doing it that way, I've seen a lot of designs like that. It'll look fine. You can do like that kind of look, or like a little feather. But once I get it on here, then I'll come back and like make it a little messier so it looks more realistic. I'm going to start out with like the pattern kind of like bigger. And then I'll get smaller as I go up, which I might go ahead and throw a few on here just so it can be drying, so we can come back and slim them down. Running out of room here. I'll just crunch them in together and then come back and clean it up. Make it look more like a coffee pour. Less like, all right, so we have like the start. Might make this a little messier up here. All right. Now, since we have that, we'll go ahead and kind of wipe off our extra paint and grab some of that like tan and caramel together. And we'll take that and we can kind of trim up, because where the milk touches the coffee, it's going to be a little bit lighter, so let's add a little bit of that caramel and tan. So I'm going to do a lot of that through the bottom. Then I'm going to let it dry for just a second. All right, so let's grab, we're still using a number 4 size brush. I let it dry just a little bit. But use a number 4, and we're going to use that same like caramel with some tan, maybe even a little bit of white. And we're just kind of streaking it up, making it a little bit more blendy. Not that blendy's a word, but y'all feel me. And so like maybe through the edge of your little ribbon candy or feather, whichever like kind of look you went for, we're going to throw a little bit of this. So a little bit of light on there. And you can even throw like a little light glare like through the edge of your cup, or the edge of your coffee rather. All right, now let's grab a little bit of the darker browns again. So same brush, just kind of wipe it off and grab more like the darker browns. And we're gonna throw gonna throw a little bit of dark over here near the edge too. Just because it looks good to have some darks and lights. Even if you did like coffee or hot chocolate or something, I would still have some darker areas and some lighter areas. And I'm gonna use that dark and throw a little bit through the middle. It's gotten a little bit streakier. I'll throw a few little streaks right here, kind of curving. So we got that. Now I'll grab like more of the light color, and this is where you can eat away at your white in a few places. Just anywhere it got a little thick. Same thing like in between our little pieces of your design. And the same thing like on the other side of it. I hadn't hit this other side, but if you need to slim it up, just grab more like your coffee color or latte or hot chocolate, cappuccino, whatever's in your cup, and kind of you could do a matcha tea, do it green, that'd be cute. But I think now we kind of thinned up our design in a few places. Our heart might be too perfect just because I let it dry a little too much probably, like instead of like while the brown was still wet. So I might take a little bit of brown and throw a little bit of brown in there and then go back with the white and smooth it out just because I didn't want it to be painted in there too solid. But I think it kind of looks like a coffee design, but you can always tweak it however you want. And then I would grab just a little bit of black and dark gray, and like back here where we had the little opening, just anywhere you might need to go back over a few of your darks. Just if we ate away at them too much, I would add a few back in there. Just a little bit of that black and dark gray. And the same thing with like where we threw the gray underneath the handle and underneath where the cup hits. If that got too thick, you can take a little bit of white and trim it up just a smidge. All right. Maybe even a little bit more white for the glare. And then if you needed to darken up your cup at all. But I think it looks like a latte. So we'll go ahead and wipe that one off, chunk it in the water, and grab a teeny tiny brush and dry it off. And now we have some coffee. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Be sure to check us out. We're on Cox Street in Asheboro. And be sure to check out our website, www.thepreppypossum.com.